Let's head back to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Everybody's injury-ridden in the NFL, but it feels like Cleveland every year is like over the top with injuries. Do you blame this on the way they scout and draft these guys because they bring in guys who are injuries, or is it just like a lucky thing that happens to these guys? Because if you think about it, Jed Wills, Jack Conklin, Ethan Posters, Wyatt Teller, Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, J.O.K., Grant Delpit, like look at all the guys that they bring in here and that they sign or that they draft, and they're all hurt, like massive injury bugs. I feel like we're cursed with injuries. What do you think? Just want to hear your thoughts. Go Browns.
As always, appreciate all of the voicemails. Jeff, it's a valid question, and I don't think it's scouting. I got to be honest with you. I think they got to look at the way they run training camp and the way they run preseason. And when you're coming off a 3-14 season where you've had so many injuries, and it's been 2-3 years they've had, you got to look at everything from the way you practice to the way you train to what you're doing in training camp.
Absolutely. Everything should be on the table. And I did a little bit of research and digging on it. The Browns were third in games lost to injury. I'm sorry, fourth in 2023 and third in 2024. By the way, they're the only team that plays on grass that's in the top 10 either season. So that does lend something. I will say this, though. One of the ways that you get a bargain in the analytics market, and this leans on what DePodesta and Barry go at, is that you can take risks on injured players because they're going to be below market value because they have poor durability. Well, when they all hit wrong at the same time, that creates obvious problems. Look, Nick Chubb was worth the risk. This guy had a horrific injury in college. Jack Conklin has been hurt going back to high school. A lot of the guys that they have, one of the reasons why they were more appealing to the Browns as a free agent and more available and more affordable is because, they only played 12 games last year and 10 the year before that. And some of the guys, JOK, he's a small guy for his position. That plays into it as well. But yeah, they certainly need to look into, the methods of which they go about it and trying to keep these guys fresh during the season. Is it because they don't go hard enough on their one padded practice a week during the season? Do they go too hard? Is it something where they're training the wrong way? Not working necessarily on building up soft tissue, but instead, building up muscle. All those things need to get looked at because the color's not wrong. And the fact, again, look, being familiar with the Detroit Lions, who lost an absurd amount of games this year to injury, but still won. Look, drafting and taking risks on players who have injury histories is big, but being the only grass team, it really stood out to me. And I think that's something that, especially as there's potential to move, you got to take that into account because that leans that there's something a little bit grander going on than just, guys having bad luck.